The retirement advice that you've been given, it was not designed for your life. It was designed for someone with 40 years of steady, uninterrupted income to save from, not for a woman whose income went up and down like a roller coaster, not for a woman who took time off, changed careers, went through a divorce, or spent years keeping a family running while her own savings sat still. The model was actually built by a financial industry that profits from your savings, and it set a bar so high that anything less felt like failure. So many of us just stopped trying. That's not a character flaw. That was a predictable response to kind of a rigged standard. And the solution that they keep handing you is more of the same model. Save more, invest smarter, work longer. I want to show you something different. But first, let me be clear about what this channel is not. It is not about flipping real estate. It is not about stocks or crypto or anything that requires capital that you do not have yet. It is not a side hustle roundup, and it is not a selling on Amazon is easy, buy my course to learn how. And most especially, it is absolutely not an MLM or network marketing wearing a different outfit. This is actually about building a real business from what you already know in the hours you actually have available in your season of life. And if that sounds different from anything you've found so far, well, you're right. Stay with me. Now tell me in the comments, really quick, what did you do when you first realized that the retirement savings number that you were supposed to get just wasn't going to happen for you? Did you make a plan? Did you panic? Did you just kind of not look at it anymore? Yeah, I avoided that. I want to know. I have a feeling that more of us have the same answer than we might actually think. Let's do it. I want to talk about why so many people in their 50s and 60s and beyond feel like they failed at retirement, when the reality is that the standard itself was never designed for our lives. The traditional retirement model has one assumption baked in from the beginning: 40 years of steady, predictable income moving steadily upward throughout those 40 years with a 10 to 20% pulled off the top every single month. That is who the model was built for. And here is what they never tell you. That model was built by a financial industry that earns fees on the money that you save. So the higher the bar, the more money flows through their system. That does not make saving wrong. I mean, saving is real. Compound interest is real and it is powerful, and both very much matter. But it does mean that the standard was not set with your life in mind. It was set with their business model in mind. And for many of us, Gen X especially, steady upward income was never the reality. Our income went up and down, way up in the good years and way down when the industry shifted, when the market turned, or life happened. We had years where saving was genuinely just not possible, not because we lacked discipline, but because we were feeding our families on what we made. And when we could not hit the right number, many of us did something very, very human. We told ourselves that the whole thing was trash and we just kind of stopped trying and said, I'll figure it out later. I did that. The bar felt so unreachable that partial effort kind of just felt pointless. That's not a personal failure. That is exactly what happens when a standard is just set too high to be realistic for real lives. And then you add to that some of us, women especially, took time off for kids. Some of us had significant career changes or gaps. Some of us went through a divorce. Some of us sacrificed for years of caregiving. Many of us had jobs without retirement matching or pensions, and we did all of that while being told to just save more. The gap between where you are and where the model says you should be is not a character flaw. You need to hear that. It is a structural mismatch between a model and a life, your life. And I'm not going to tell you any of that is fine. It is not fine, and we're going to deal with it directly head on. But I am done letting women in this specific situation believe that they did something wrong. You did not fail the model. The model actually failed you. Now, real quick, before we go any further, I know you're probably either driving or doing 3 other things right about now. I mean, I'm multitasker all the time. And what I'm about to show you is the part that actually changes the picture. I've pulled together the key takeaways and the exact next steps all in one place. I do that for every video. The link for all of this is in the description, or use the QR code that's on your screen. All right, so if the model was broken to begin with, What is the actual alternative? Let me show you the question that nobody actually ever asked you. Every retirement conversation starts from the same place. How much do I need to have saved, and how much do I need to save every month to make that number happen? And then it calculates the gap between that number and where you are. And quite frankly, that gap is pretty brutal. And for many of us, it's so large that the conversation feels over before it even begins. And here's what that actually looks like in real life. According to financial expert guidelines, you need to have $300,000 savings in order to generate $1,000 a month in retirement. So that's the guideline. So for every $1,000 a month you want in retirement, just multiply that by $300,000. So doing the math, that means that if you want $5,000 a month, you should have $1.5 million in retirement savings by age 65 to 67. The median retirement savings for a household headed by someone 55 to 64 is $185,000. That's not a gap. That's like a freaking whole different universe. So the traditional conversation of save more, invest better, close the gap is asking something that is genuinely not possible for a very specific kind of woman. You, the woman watching this video right now. But here's what I want you to sit with, because what if the gap did not have to be closed? What if we could just make it irrelevant? The savings model asks, how much do I need to accumulate? How much do I have to sacrifice right now to accumulate that? And how much more do I have to work to make retirement possible? But the income model asks something completely different. How much do I need to bring in each month? Those are not the same question. They do not have the same answer, because an income stream does not draw down. It produces and it grows. And if you bring in $1,000 a month from something that you built, that actually changes your retirement picture. Bring in $2,000 a month, changes it more. $3,000 a month, and maybe layered on top of whatever Social Security that you might or might not have coming. And suddenly retirement is not just survivable, it's doable, it's livable, it's no longer scary. And here is the piece that makes this even more powerful. Building income does not replace saving. It makes saving possible. So when you have revenue coming in from something that you built, you can save more, not less. You're maximizing every variable at once. So the income model and the savings model, they're not enemies. The income model is what finally makes the savings model work specifically for you in your situation of life. And here's what I want to address about all of this. The fear, kind of underneath the fear, because when most women hear build a business, they picture something that sounds big. It sounds overwhelming. It sounds heavy, impossible. When most women over 50 hear build a business to fund your retirement, here's what they picture. Learning a completely foreign industry, competing with the 25-year-olds who grew up online, starting from absolute zero. Spending money they do not have on tools or inventory that they do not understand or need. And worst of all, doing all of it on top of a life that is already full. That picture is exhausting. And heck, I'm exhausted describing that picture. And truth be told, it's wrong. Because what this actually is, it's monetizing who you already are. It's not a side hustle. It's not a gig, not someone else's system bolted onto your life. This is about your decades of experience, your expertise, your passions, maybe your specific way of solving problems for specific situations, specific problems for specific situations and specific people. That's the business. It already exists inside of you. And the only new thing that you need to learn is how to connect that to the people who want and need it. That is the one learnable piece in all of this. I want to tell you about a friend of mine. She actually spent 30 years as a nurse, and then she had to step away from her career to care for her parents because they have dementia, they had health crises, there were Medicare decisions, facility versus in-home care, financial oversight for them. She didn't want them in a facility, so she wanted to care for them. She navigated all of it. The medical complexity, the financial paperwork, the impossible choices. When she came out the other side, she realized something. That thousands of adult children who are going through exactly what she went through right now, every day. Completely overwhelmed, completely lost, making major decisions with no roadmap. And the thing was is that she knew that roadmap cold. So she started consulting, first with friends of hers, then with acquaintances, and then strangers that were recommended by those friends and acquaintances. And I'm now coaching her as she builds her audience nationwide. She's building a national audience, a national business without a team in her spare time while she's still caregiving for her parents. She did not start over. She's finally getting paid for what she already knew, an expertise that was second nature to her, but is wildly valuable to people like you and I, with parents hitting the years where they need our help. So whatever your version of that is, 30 years of HR, maybe it's 20 years of teaching, maybe you had a career in finance, maybe you have a decade of running a household, maybe you have an obsession with diamond painting. That is the starting point. It's not a reinvention, it's a recognition. So who am I? And why does any of this come from me? I'm not a financial advisor, clearly. I am not reporting from the other side of a beach retirement that I figured out at 35. I am not a guru. I'm an entrepreneur and a marketer. I've opened my first retail store at 14. By the time I was 18, I had 4 stores across 2 states. I have been building businesses and teaching other people how to market them for over 40 years. I've coached thousands of business owners. I know what builds a sustainable income stream. I've done it before, more than once. This is my 5th business. And right now, as you are watching this, I'm building this one in real time in about 4 to 6 hours a week. And on top of all of that, I am working a full-time job, about 50 plus hours a week. And I don't actually draw a salary. That's a whole other story. I have a hard deadline, November 1st, 2027. I need to be drawing a real salary from this business by that date. My income has been a roller coaster all my life. I know what it feels like to have a great year and then watch the floor drop out. I know what it feels like to need something to work. Not as a motivational exercise, but for real. I'm not ahead of you. I am right here beside you. The difference is, I have built income streams before. I've helped others build income streams. I know this path works, and I'm walking it openly so that you can see exactly how it's done. None of this is theory. It's not highlights from someone who made it a decade ago. And I'm not watching another guru on YouTube and then running back here to my channel so that I can regurgitate the same thing that they already say just to grow a channel. This is a living, breathing case study, and it's happening right now, literally, by yours truly, who has done it before and is doing it again. So the question is this channel the right channel for you? If you're a woman over 50 who is worried about retirement, if you've done the calculations and they keep coming up short, and if you have decades of experience and expertise, and if you're over 50, you have experience and expertise, even if you don't believe it yet. And if you have no idea how to turn any of it into income, if you're exhausted by advice that was never designed for your actual life, you are in the exact right place. This channel is not a pep talk, although there will be a lot of that. It is not a 27-step system that requires $500 a month in software spend, and it is not another $3,000 course that teaches you everything except how to actually land your first client. It is a real path built on what you already have, executed in the hours that you actually have available. That hope that you maybe felt when you clicked on this video, it was real. It was right. Let it stay. Nest yourself in it. Take comfort in that hope. Your first step is to get on my list. The link is in the description, or you can use the QR code that's on your screen. It is free. It is immediate. And it is where this conversation goes deeper. And then go watch the video that started all of this. And it's right here, up there. This is where my story begins. And it is the best next place to understand exactly where we're going together. I encourage you to dare yourself to flourish in this season of life.